We found an old farmhouse deep in the woods and thought it was abandoned. By the next morning, we realized someone had been there the whole time. Back in 2021, me and 3 of my friends decided to go camping for a few days. It wasn't anything unusual. We just wanted somewhere quiet, away from people. One of my friends suggested a forest he'd heard about, but he couldn't give a proper name for it. He just said it was far enough. We didn't question it. We parked the car near the edge of the woods and walked in with our gear. After about 30 minutes, we found a decent spot and set up our tent. Deeper in, maybe another 10-minute walk, there was an old farmhouse. It looked abandoned. The windows were dusty, one of them was cracked, and the door barely hung straight on its hinges. We checked inside quickly, just out of curiosity. There were only 3 rooms. Everything was covered in dust, and it looked like no one had been there in years. One of the rooms was locked. We didn't think much of it and went back to our tent. The first night was normal. We ate, talked, laughed, nothing felt off. The second night was different. It started raining heavily around evening, and by midnight the wind got so bad that the tent couldn't hold up anymore. We didn't have much choice, so we grabbed what we could and ran to the farmhouse. Inside, there were broken chairs and old furniture scattered around. Cold, quiet, dust everywhere. We stayed in one of the open rooms, trying to get dry. At some point, while we were sitting there, one of my friends said, "Do you smell that?" At first, I didn't. Then I did. A faint burning smell. Not like firewood, something else. Stronger, sharper. We all noticed it at the same time. And the weird part was, it wasn't coming from outside. We didn't speak for a few seconds. Then we started checking around the house. Slowly, quietly. The smell got stronger the closer we got to the locked room. We tried the handle. It wouldn't move. One of my friends pushed harder. Nothing. We just stood there for a moment, not really sure what to do. Eventually, we went back to the room we were staying in. Nobody said it, but none of us felt comfortable anymore. We didn't sleep that night. The next morning, one of my friends said we should try opening the locked door again. I didn't really want to, but we all went anyway. When we got there, the door was slightly open, just a little. None of us said anything. I know for a fact it was locked the night before. One of my friends pushed it slowly. The door opened without resistance. Inside, it wasn't a room. It was a narrow passage. Dark. No light at all. It looked like it went underground. We stood there for a while. I remember thinking we should leave it alone, but nobody said it. So we went in. The air inside was colder than outside. Not normal cold. Still, heavy. We had one small torch with us. It barely lit the way, just enough to see the ground in front of us. The walls were rough, wooden in some places, dirt in others. The deeper we went, the stronger that smell got. Burning, mixed with something rotten. At some point, we stopped. There was a door at the end. Old wood. Damp. I pushed it. It didn't open at first. Then it gave, and suddenly, the room behind it was bigger than I expected. Not huge, but enough to feel wrong. There were chairs placed in a rough circle. Some broken, some still upright. In the middle, there was a metal pot. It was still warm. None of us spoke for a second. Then one of my friends said quietly, "Someone was here." Another one stepped forward and lowered the torch toward the ground. "These aren't ours." That's when we saw them. Footprints. Fresh ones. They didn't lead in or out. They just went in circles. Over and over. On one side of the wall, there were names carved into the wood. Some looked old. Some looked recent. We didn't stay long after that. None of us wanted to check the other rooms. We just turned and walked back. But the tunnel felt longer. I don't know how to explain it. It just didn't feel the same as when we came in. Halfway through, we heard something behind us. A dragging sound. Slow. Close. We didn't turn around. We just kept walking faster. Then one of my friends stopped suddenly. He looked at the ground and said, "These aren't ours." There were footprints behind us, following us. We didn't say anything after that. We just ran. When we got out, it was still raining. We didn't stop until we reached the car. No one spoke while we were driving. Not for a long time. Eventually, one of my friends said something that stuck with me. He said, "That place wasn't abandoned." I asked him what he meant. He didn't answer right away. He just looked back toward the forest. Then he said, "That place isn't abandoned. There's still someone there." If you enjoy true stories like this, feel free to subscribe. I'll be uploading more soon.